Thank God.
Amen.
We're going to have a good time tonight.
Amen.
I give honor to God, Pastor Carol DeLoach, and all the saints that are present on this Sunday night. We're going to have a good time.
Amen.
We're going to praise the Lord.
Amen.
We had a good time this morning.
Oh,
We had a
yes.
good time this evening. So you all be good.
Yeah.
Good time is a good time.
Good time.
That's good right there. Good time is a good time. No matter how you do it. So at this time, if you wish the Lord is good. Y'all get it?
You got it.
You got it.
Pastor didn't get that. So at this time, our speaker for tonight, Brother Minister Mike Wilson.
Amen.
And y'all give him a hand clap of praise. If you come to present us with an anointed word.
Go ahead. Tell him what he want to say tonight. Who is that?
It's starting to come out.
It's real.
Everybody's over there sit down.
Oh yeah.
Man.
We had a good time this morning.
Amen.
I get to where it doesn't matter who's preaching, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter who's performing or whatever that's happening here. I just want to be here. There was a lot of word in that this morning.
Yes, it was.
You know, Coy brought it, man, he brought it all full circle. He brought it all right back together, right? CPR. And the catching, you know, when he said somebody, if you're going to bring somebody back to life, you got to get on your knees and press. And man, that's been weighing on me for a minute, and you know, and I ain't stopped. But I want to take you to another thing this evening. There's a couple of things, man. You know, there was that song that Coy jumped off into. If you live right, heaven belongs to you. That's it. I'm gonna take you there, because I'm gonna take you into Ezekiel. I'll tell you what, because I'm gonna get hot in a minute.
Amen.
And it's not just because it's hot in here. I can feel the spirit all over here.
Amen.
I might get loud.
It's okay. Help yourself. It's okay.
Getting a little excited.
Go ahead.
Co-pastor humming up here one night. I was listening to some music coming back over here, and it was a Yahweh, Yahweh, right? And it's these young dudes, and they're young, they're in their mid-20s, powerful. They're kind of a rock and roll group, but I mean, it's a Christian rock and roll. And when you go back and you start listening to the words of their songs, you can tell that these guys are anointed and that they're studied, because the words that they were bringing out, I was just studying, it's Psalm 16:8. If you want to go ahead and turn to that real quick. I have set the Lord always before me.
Yes.
And there's a song that they're singing, and he says, I set the Lord before me. And something that it's kind of resonating with me right now, because I have to be careful. You know, we're coming up on the 3rd of November, which is this Felony to Freedom thing. And I know that there's a message for them, for that crowd. And it's not unlike the message to us, right? And it's like, if you live right, heaven belongs to you.
Amen.
I did this once before in my business life, and my spiritual life and my prayer life was a wreck. So when my spiritual life and my prayer life was a wreck, so goes the rest of my life.
Yes.
Right? And it was tumultuous is a good word. I had this thing just like everybody else has about right now. Right? Everybody else out there thinks that I'm a good person. Are you going to heaven? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
You think?
You gotta know.
See, that's the thing. Do you know that you know that you know?
No. Amen.
You know, when I'm asking somebody that question and they say, how do you know? And it's a good question, I suppose, if you don't know the Lord, right? If you've never studied the book. But the bottom line is this: I set the Lord before me. Before I came out here, before I came back out, I made a commitment, a covenant with the Lord, right? I made that way back when, that if you'll take care of my family during this time, that I'll do anything you ask me to do.
Amen.
And then I found out way later on, way after I made that promise, that it's better to not make a promise than to make it and not keep it. Now, he brought that to my remembrance, right? Remember what you said, because I'm not to be trifled with. And the thing that Coy and I've been talking about this a little bit. You know, what does it mean when you say that when you set the Lord before you? What exactly does that mean? What does that mean to you guys? Because when you start looking at this thing, it says my answer when I say what does that mean is you choose to relate everything that you encounter to your trust in God. So when you guys hear me, I've heard people say it in my business life, it's like you shouldn't over spiritualize things. Everything is not of God. And I go right back to, man, what planet are you on? I was watching a show on TV the other night. I was watching Netflix. It wasn't a Christian show. It's called Intelligence. And there's these bad guys. And this is what's happening right now. You got these bad guys, and they have all of the drama going on in their lives. And then you have the police. They're in Canada, right? So they have the police. They're organization. They're organized crime unit and whatnot, and all the drama that goes along with those guys, because they got good guys and bad guys on the law side. Then they got good guys and bad guys on the other side, right? Very much like real life. And then what happens is, and the way that they tell the story is really, it's addictive. Because what they do is they take about 10 minutes and they say, this is what's going on with Sister Joyce. Then they come back and they say, this 10 minutes, this is what's going on with Brother Mike. Right? Then they give you 10 minutes, they come back and they say, this is what's going on with Brother Clyde. Now, we'll just say that's the bad side. Okay? Then they go back to the good side and they take 10 minutes and they explain about pastor, co-pastor, 10 minutes in each one. And then they start over again. And they take 5 minutes. And they do the whole circle, and they come back and they do 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. By the time you're at the end of this thing, things are happening so fast, you're just trying to figure out what's going on. And it's very much like what a Christian walk is like. Right? And I know that things have changed for me because I'm watching this guy at the end. I know he's had a change of heart. Him and his buddies are trying to get out of this thing. They're going to retire from the life of crime. And they're going to go spend some time with their families. But the one guy's wife is crazy. I can relate to that. She was crazy. It wasn't happening fast enough. Right? You need to come spend some time with your family, or you don't make enough money. Wait a second. Y'all seen it on Facebook too, right? If you want a successful man, you better be married to a working man. Right? Because they know no free.
Amen, amen.
But the guy was trying to get it right. He was trying to get it right. And as I was watching this thing, I was fascinated because I've been involved in that lifestyle. I've been involved in a lot of things like that. And then when I was looking at some of the things that were happening with the bad police, and I was thinking, good. It's good it got you. They got you. I'm glad they got you. You know what I'm saying? Now you can do your time, right? I had this, and I'm a Christian man. I'm a man of God. And I'm watching this thing and I'm getting caught up in this stuff. But at the end of the day, this guy gets shot and killed. I don't know if he got killed. These people at CBS didn't renew the deal, right? To go into a third season. So the last thing you see is this guy get shot, and I'm like, oh my God, he wasn't safe. Right? That's how I know I've changed.
Amen.
is I'm praying for a TV character.
I know.
You understand? I went on Google and started looking to see, man, what happened to that brother? Because I need to reach out to him, man. Look, you better get right. Then I come in here and Brother Corey's telling me about a friend of the family that got shot. Tyrone. It broke my heart. Because this dude's out there living bad. Right? And the dude gets shot. And there's a tendency when we're out there and we're living bad for people to say, take your lick. The problem is if the man's not saved and he dies, the Lord says in his book, he said, I say that to your shame. You understand? Especially if you know the word. Right? And we got a brother that's laying up there. I don't know this man. I wanted to go see him today. Brother Corey was saying, man, he wasn't even trying to hear it from me. Okay, well, let's just try a big white guy. See how that goes. Because I ain't scared. Hey, listen to a big black guy. Doesn't he turn the tables on him, confuse him a little bit. He just got shot. Probably got shot by a white guy. Maybe he'll listen. I'm just saying, if it was a white guy shot him, would you listen if I walked in with my Bible? Be a coincidence, maybe? I ain't scared. What's he gonna do? He already got shot. I'm not making light of the man being shot. What I'm saying is that right now, we got a dude almost died, and almost everybody knows that this cat's not saved.
Amen. I understand.
That should concern everybody in here.
Amen.
Amen.
He's causing his aunties and his mother and them grief. One of them, you know what I'm saying, that they're not going to live the full potential of their life because this man ain't right. They can't enjoy life because he's ruining it for everybody else. So why are we still sitting here and not talking to this dude?
Amen.
I set the Lord before me.
Uh-huh.
Right? So when I came out here, I didn't get back in that nonsense. I didn't go back around the same guys that I was around. And some of the, I did go around one of them, and he tried to get right, and he tried to kind of roll with me a little bit, and he's not built like that. He didn't understand yet. He still wants to drink, and he still wants to do the drugs and whatnot. And, you know, you can't run with me, man. I can't do that. Because you're going to say something or do something, right? And you're going to get me back out there. Right? Even if I'm just trying to set you straight, you're likely going to get that button pushed. And I can be like that, you know? So it's like this, it's like Tyrone, right? He goes out there, what happened was, not unlike my brother, he went out there to help somebody. Somebody got on somebody, right? That's the story, is that somebody got on one of his partners and he went out there to stick up for his partner. If his partner had to come get you, he shouldn't have been entertaining that nonsense in the first place. That's the way I feel about it. If they whooped you, stay away from them. What did your grandma tell you when you were little? Right? Grandma, it hurts when I do my arm like this. She said, don't do your arm like that. Great medical advice. Shouldn't have been out there. Shouldn't have been out there. Right? I'm just saying, there's things that are happening, and it's, this is what I want to get into, right? Was, I choose to put him in front of my life, in every way, right? So he's my counselor. He is my defender. Right? I don't have to go out there and entertain that nonsense because God is going before me. I wouldn't be in the situation to get shot because God has gone before me and cleared my path.
Amen.
All right now.
Amen.
He is at my right hand. I shall not be moved. You are not going to get me to get involved in that nonsense. I'm not going to allow you to drag one of these youngsters out into that nonsense.
Amen.
If you come in here with that foolishness, and you can let everybody know when they decide to come over there and start jacking around with y'all, just let them know there's a convict in the family. With a Bible. So they know they got a Bible. And that God is at my right hand. I'm not going to be moved.
All right now.
Right?
Amen.
That goes for everybody.
Amen.
One of them knuckleheads get over there and starts messing with Sister Pammy on that train, I'm going to start riding the train. I'm just saying. I got some vacation days. I'm just serious. Well, what I'm saying is I'm not going out there to hurt these dudes, but I'm gonna go out there and start talking to them.
Yeah.
Right? What it says, it's in Ezekiel, he starts talking about, he says, you know, it talks about the teeth of the children are set against the parents or something. Hang on a second. What he said was, dang, it's on that one. 6? Let me see. Okay. Ezekiel, this is Ezekiel 18. The word of the Lord came to me. What do you mean by using this proverb concerning the land of Israel? The fathers eat sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge. It says, as I live, this is the declaration of the Lord God. You will no longer use this proverb in Israel. We are engrafted into the body, right? When the Gentiles, when Peter went out, now we're all part of the body, right? Once you've accepted Christ, we're engrafted into the body. So what he says is, you'll no longer be able to use this proverb in Israel. Look, every life belongs to me. The life of the Father is like the life of the Son. Both belong to me. The person who sins is the one who's going to die.
Yes.
I heard it over and over and over again, right? You don't understand. You don't know where I came from. You don't know what I've been through. You're probably right, but you don't know where I came from and you don't know what I've been through.
Amen.
And the reality is, you know, I can go back a ways, right? If I go back to my mom's dad, right? He was a sharecropper in Vernon, Texas. You guys know what a sharecropper is?
Oh, yeah.
So there was 13 kids in my mom's family, and all of them picked cotton for the man at the top of the hill that took his cut out of everything that they did. When my grandfather passed away at 43 years old, right, died of a sunstroke. Now he was a music minister, but he was a sharecropper. Right, as a sharecropper. I'll get you on the rest of the message. I can't say it. You're okay. If you live right, heaven belongs to you. That's the song you sang. He's a sharecropper. He dies at 43, and then my mom and her 12 brothers and sisters went and lived in a little house in Lindale, Texas, because they had some little bit of family over there. And they moved into this house, and it was framed, but it had no siding on it. So they put cardboard boxes to the outside of it, and they filled the walls with newspaper, which is a massive fire hazard. But that's how they kept warm in the wintertime. So that's how my mom and them started out. Now my dad's dad was a carpenter, but before that, his grandfather was a sharecropper. So he starts building houses. Then he decides to leave his wife. He gets hooked up with a hooker. Voila, my dad is born. Okay? So now my wife's gonna kill me for putting out there that because now I got grandkids, so their great was a hooker, right? Oh well, it is what it is.
Yes.
You don't know what I've been through, you don't know what I came from.
Tell the truth.
Most people don't know that, right? They don't know that on my dad's side of the family, half of them been to Huntsville. It was long before I got locked up that them people had started an old family tradition. I wasn't trying to go there, but ended up. The thing is, it's not a generational curse. There's no such thing, because what he just said right here, right? This is Ezekiel. He said you don't get to use that excuse anymore. Didn't he just say that? I can't say it was because my aunts and my uncles and because of all of this other stuff that happened, because my family was poor coming up and my grandparents were poor coming up. I can't use that as an excuse for why I did what I did. Basically, paraphrase this for everybody at Felony to Freedom is take your lick. Right? It is what it is. You did you. Right? Now you're out here. Now what do you do? If you live right, heaven belongs to you. That's what you're saying.
Amen.
Psalm 16:8. I have set the Lord always before me. When I came out here, that's how I've been doing this. I've been stepping it out. Didn't have the money to put, I didn't have the money to go speak to them kids. But when the opportunity came up and I knew it was of God, I put that money in the gas tank and I went and saw those kids. God came back and he blessed that over and over and over again.
Amen.
I didn't have money to come out here. The first couple of times I came out here, I didn't have money to put gas in my truck. You understand? I mean, I was coming out here, I was invited to come out, and I knew it was of God. I had a bunch of different projects with a lot of irons in the fire, but nothing was going to bear fruit yet. You understand? He had made the provision was made, and it was there for me, but I had to be obedient to come and do what he asked me to do. I made a vow once upon a time, if you'll take care of my family, I'll do whatever you ask me to. Preaching and teaching, swords and sandals, whatever you ask, I'm going to do that part. So I stepped out. When I knew that I had to talk to Coy, I didn't know why I needed to talk to Coy. I didn't know if it was going to be business related or what the deal was, but there was an urgency in my spirit. There was a sense of urgency unlike anything that I had felt before. So when I was telling Pat that day, me and you were going to see, if I had to go track you down, me and you were going to talk that day. I mean, that's how strong it was. And it was, once you came in, I didn't even know why. It was like, look, I need to share this with you, even if it blows this business deal, whatever it is.
Amen.
I ain't got no money to even go to church. I'm counting on Coy in the 5th floor. Right? We're working on this thing with Pat. But I'm saying that there was a lot of things that were happening right then, and I had to be obedient to come in and say something. I had to do the same thing with another customer. I went out there and the man says, look, he gets away from his wife and he says, I'm looking at the project and I know that's $125,000. I know it. He gets me up there and he says, look, man, all I want to do is finish this room, sell this house, and go out to New Mexico and die. And I knew immediately. I mean, I started praying in the spirit and I was like, I'm not here for this theater, am I? I didn't have the money to drive all the way to Flower Mound from Forney to minister to this guy. But I had to share my story with him. You know what I mean? And then over the course of the next year or so, he went through some surgeries and he did some things, but he was brought back to life.
Thank you, Lord.
I got on my knees and I pressed.
Amen.
So just the other day I go to lunch. Thursday I go to lunch with these guys. It's a big deal in Forney. It's a great big deal. He's a new guy. They know of me. They've seen some crazy things that have been going on, and we're gonna have lunch. But they asked some very specific questions. I've been questioned before. I knew that they were asking the questions to see what my response was going to be. And again, it was a situation. Is it the money or is it for me? Right? That's the question in the spirit. And he says, why are you so passionate about felons and veterans? And I got excited because I've seen it happen over and over and over again. Every time I tell somebody, I'm blessed. They overcame by the word of their testimony and the blood of the Lamb. Over and over and over again. And all I could say was, because I'm one of both. But God. I told him about being in that cell and Jesus stepping in there and giving me a holy hug. I mean, I've been sober. Do you guys realize that in a couple of days it'll be 9 solid years? I ain't had a drink. You know what I mean? I set the Lord before me. So when I came out here, if I could have found it in the Bible, anywhere, that said it was okay to get out of prison and drink, I would have been all in. Because I said whatever he asked, I was going to do it.
All right, all right.
I'd have run right back out them gentlemen's clubs and I would have been ministering to those girls. Right? But it wasn't in there nowhere. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, that was the old Mike, and the new Mike comes out here. I set the Lord before me, and he's opening up the doors. And make no mistake, he's closing those other doors. They're closed. I'm not even looking that direction. There's no desire. I have nothing. I don't struggle with alcoholism. I don't struggle with any of that nonsense.
Amen.
I just don't. I don't have the desire. He took that away. What he did is he gave me the desires of my heart, which is I want to please him. I want to love on him.
Amen.
See, he's been loving on me. All this time he's been loving on me, and now I'm trying to figure out how I can love on you. How do I love on you? Do what I told you to.
Amen. Amen.
So when you get down in here, and this really goes back to you know, what I asked the question was, what does it mean to set the Lord before you? You make a choice. If I put my friends out there and I'm worried about what they think, or I'm wanting to love on my friends, or if I'm putting my business out there and that's going before me, and that's what I'm always consumed with, if I'm worrying about my kids, or if I'm worrying about my work, if I'm worrying about my bills, that means that I've set that before me, not set the Lord before me, because what I have to do is I have to trust in God in everything that I encounter, everything, every single thing. I have to look at that. How is God, what is He trying to show me? What's He trying to tell me? Right? It's just like we talked about in Sunday school this morning. If somebody cuts me off, what is He trying to show me? That person did not cut me off on purpose. I can't believe that anybody, well, if they knew me, there's no way in the world they would do that. But I'm saying, God shows me that there's a police officer up ahead.
Right.
Right? Or we were talking about it, and I was driving to Houston the other day, and this is no joke. In 3 weeks, I put 4,000 miles in that car.
Wow.
Between here and Houston and around Dallas. That's a lot of driving. At 160 miles an hour. No, it's a lot of driving. I was driving to Houston, and at one point, this guy gets over, he just pulls out and gets in front of me. There's no reason in the world for him to pull out of that lane and get in front of me at that speed. Except that God wanted me to see what was coming up over that next hill. Because I slowed down and I was like, what are you trying to show me?
Amen.
And I looked out to the left, and it was literally, that's what it looks like when Adam and Eve walked out in the morning and they looked out from Eden over everything that God created. That's what it looked like when the sun was rising over Eden.
Wow.
That's why that dude pulled out in front of me. Right? So God could show me something different. Why did I go all the way to Simsport? There were some people that needed some jobs. Right? But you know what sells the job? When I go out there and I talk to these people with all the money that are about to spend that kind of money over there, they said, why in the world, what does Simsport have to offer the rest of the world? And I said, the most beautiful sunrises you've ever seen in your life.
Amen.
And they said, now how do you know that? And I said, because I spent 4 years locked up. And every single morning I could not wait to come back from chow and watch the sun rise over the trees.
Wow.
Every single morning. I think we're fixing to take some pictures. Anyway, we have this, you go back into Ezekiel 18, okay? So he says in verse 5, he says, now suppose a man is righteous and he does what is just and right. He doesn't eat from the mountain shrines or raise his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel. He does not defile his neighbor's wife or come near a woman during a menstrual impurity. He does not oppress anyone, but he returns his collateral to his debtor. He does not commit robbery. He does all of the right things, right? That guy's going to live. But if the guy does all the right things and he decides to start doing the wrong things, he's going to die. Conversely, if you're the bad guy and you're always doing the bad thing and then you decide to start living right, those sins will be remembered no more. He said that, I didn't. But he said it to me when I was in the worst place of the worst places. So when I got out here, I set him before me and I'm standing on this thing. Then Coy comes in this morning, right? So you have the testimony. I'm not accepting anything that is contrary to the word. That's what she said. She said, no, you said, and it's not me.
All right now.
This is your name. You're the one that said you would do this. If I die, I can't praise you. I can't worship you. That's the way to go into a situation. Any situation. Right? That's absent. She put the Lord before her. His word before her. We've been talking about how do you pray. You use his word. You bring it to his remembrance and you say, look, this is what you said.
Amen.
By your stripes we are healed. Past tense.
That's what the word
It's
says
over with.
in Isaiah.
Before it ever got started, we were healed. You just have to believe it.
Amen.
I keep getting these guys and they said, you got to believe, you got to preach the whole word. You got to teach the whole word. What they don't want, the believe it and receive it thing, they don't want you to hear that. Because that's a bad thing somehow. For everybody in YouTube land, we got some dogs on the property. And Uncle Clyde be drunk across the field. No, I'm kidding.
Preach, man of God.
No weapon or dog formed against me shall prosper.
Amen.
Listen, if you choose to put your worries, your physical condition, your finances, any of that stuff before you, that's what you choose. That becomes an idol.
Yes.
You
Yes,
can
it
actually,
does.
you can put your wife before the Lord, she can become an idol. You can put your husband before the Lord, he can become an idol.
Man.
You're trying to do everything you can to please this man. You're trying to please this woman, no matter what you do. At the end of the day, certainly, you're supposed to take care of your spouse. You're supposed to take care of your kids.
Amen.
You're supposed to be concerned about things. But the bottom line is, he's my counselor, he's my defender, he's my lawyer, my doctor, my financer.
Alright.
He does everything that I need.
Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
You guys have seen, hopefully, I hope that what you see in me from the time that I got here the first time to the time now is that I put the Lord before me. And I will fight tooth and nail, I will die behind that, that He is the one that's doing all of this, not me.
Amen.
I keep telling everybody it ain't me.
Amen, Brother Mike.
I had a gentleman that, he was we're looking at different buildings, right? So I had almost made up my mind. But we had this guy came in and he was the quintessential banker. Everything but the bow tie. Right? And all we're doing is looking at renting this space that is out in Terrell. It's not, it doesn't look real good. Matter of fact, it needs a lot of love and attention, a lot of care, but it can be something, I believe. Because remember, I told you guys I was at this one meeting and I said, Lord, if you don't show me something, I'm going to sign one of these other, I'm going to sign one of these buildings. And then this guy in the middle of one of the meetings, he said, man, a building just came open in Terrell. So we went out there and we looked at it, and then this guy comes out and he's asking all these questions. So we're showing him our financials, we're showing him all this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking, man, look, I'm not trying to buy the building. I just want to lease the stupid thing. And it's falling apart. I got to go back in and do a whole bunch of work to it. So I got to thinking about it, and somebody asked me, I said, why do you keep going back to that building? And I said, because it looks an awful lot like I did when God first got a hold of me.
My.
There's not much there, but there's something to work with, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of paint, clean it up, and I think we can do something with it. And so, a real estate agent, and I told you I got a problem with 14-year-olds negotiating leases that are going to cost me that kind of money. So, and he's not really 14 years old, but I mean, he just barely got face hair. So, anyway, I called the man, the one that was the mean guy with everything but the bow tie that was giving me such a hard time. I got a hold of the man and I said, can you get me in on Saturday? Because real estate agent told me it was impossible. Not until Monday. And I said, I really need to get in on Saturday. So the man, the banker man, says, you know what? He answers me right away too. He says, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you out there at 3 o'clock. So we get out there, and when I'm sitting out there and I'm praying about it, and I'm looking at the building, I'm praying on the property, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at, and I mean, it's like, this is it. This is where you want me. I'm feeling peace right now.
Yes.
But I got all these other distractions out here, so I'm going to settle on this thing. You're just going to have to show me that this is about you and not about me. I don't want to make a decision based on my pride or anything else. So the guy shows up, and he gets out of his car, and he's in some runner shorts and a Christian t-shirt. And I thought, okay, well, that could be a sign.
All right.
Then we started talking about just small talk, and we started walking over to the other building, and he said, I was going to ask you something, man. I was getting ready to leave your office the other day, and I saw a thing that says, we are blessed above the door. And he said, what's that about? And I said, you got some time? I said, because we are blessed.
Come on now.
He asked me where I went to church, and I told him I go to a church in Lancaster. You know, pastor asked me to start speaking out there about 6 months ago on Sunday nights. And I said, everything has changed for me.
Amen.
I was walking good. I was walking circumspectly. I had put the Lord before me. I was praying. I got on my knees when I prayed. I knew that I could pray with people, and I watched things happen.
Hallelujah.
I get a hold of somebody and go to praying and watch them fall out. Right? The Spirit of God is moving through me. He's doing things to me. He's making things happen all around me. And I pray with expectation. And then pastor asked me to start speaking on Sunday nights. something happened in the spirit realm. Just like when I spoke to Jared in the courtroom that day and I said, I forgive you. Because that's what Jesus said I have to do.
Jesus.
He said I'm supposed to love you. I'm going to work on that part. We're going to work on that part.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right? But because Jesus said that's what I have to do, whether I like it or not, I got to do it.
That's right, Lord.
When Pastor asked me to speak on Sunday nights, we had the flu season. You remember that? Well, she wasn't here for a little bit, and I ended up catching Sunday mornings 3 times in a row. And I remember driving home thinking, man, I don't know how she does this. I'm glad. I ain't lying. Lord, you need to heal her quick. I was driving back out here the next Sunday, and I'm praying, Lord, I know she's better. She's going to be there. And I walk in. Pastor Roy said, how you doing, Brother Mike? They run together. They run together. They do the same thing. She says, how you feeling? He comes up and he says, how you doing, brother? And so I know what time it is. Now, I've been studying, because ever since I've been here, I know better. You ain't gonna catch me slipping, no indeed. In season or out of season, there's gonna be a word somewhere. Right? Sister Joy's gonna find out. Her time's coming. Yep. This morning we had trust me, it's all happening. Right? I asked coming up on that music ministry thing. And then all of a sudden I was like, here comes Pastor Joyce.
Oh, this is family.
Oh, yeah. And Pammy, she ain't getting nobody. None of y'all getting nothing. Tamisia's laughing. No. Look, you can be the armor bearer for a little while, but pretty soon, you think I missed all that. No. I hear you singing over there. Look, at the end of the day, what Ezekiel is saying, and I love Ezekiel, I really do, because God was speaking to this guy, and you have to understand, there really wasn't a lot happening. That guy was not the most favorite person of everybody around. And to this day, Ezekiel says some things that are kind of hard to understand. But I stand on the visions that he had.
Yes.
And you have to understand that what I do recognize, and what you guys really have to recognize, is the things that Jeremiah and Ezekiel and those guys, the things that they dreamed of, we get it.
Yes.
We're experiencing what they dreamt of. Do you understand? If the hair is not standing up all over your body right now, you might want to catch your knees. Because for real, the Holy Spirit filling us and doing these things now, the things that are happening, are the things that they only dreamed of.
My Lord. Jesus.
I really want you guys to go back and I want you to read Ezekiel 18. Read it all the way through. Read it all the way through. The sins of your father. You can't count that no more.
All right.
You can't count the sins of your neighborhood. You can't count the sins of anything. Right?
That's right.
Amen, amen.
What you have to pay attention to is, let's go back over here. We're going to go to, I'm going to go back to Ezekiel 3, maybe 4. Let's see. You have to understand that Ezekiel was prostrate. Prostrate.
Uh-huh.
He was on his face, on his knees praying. But you're going to catch in 2 and 3, he comes back and he says, Son of man, stand up.
All right.
So we've already got the message that it's time to catch our knees.
Uh-huh.
So you
Amen.
get on your knees and you're praying earnestly, right? He comes back and he says, stand on your feet. I'm trying to find it real quick.
You talking about the verse where it says stand up on your feet?
Yeah,
Ezekiel 2 and 2.
2 and 2?
2 and 1, I'm sorry.
2 and 1. He said to me, sorry, Son of man, stand up on your feet, and I will speak to you.
Amen.
So this is the thing. You can catch your knees and you can petition and pray for people thing, right? It says that faith is the, what is it? Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. Understand, a substance, you know, you guys in school, you understand what a substance is? So faith is a substance that God uses in the spirit realm, right? To turn it into anything that he wants to. He can turn it into people, finances, love. He can turn it into anything he wants to. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's okay to hope for things. It's not okay to wish for things.
My Lord.
You understand? I'm not going to stand there and chuck a penny over my shoulder no more and wish for something. Because all I did was just throw a penny away. Right? You ever done that? I know your mom and took you up there and said, just supposed to stand with your back to the fountain, take the chain and throw it over your shoulder. Man, you just threw money away. Should have put 10% of it in the plate. But you should have. Faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Amen.
Coy, what I wanted to get to you before, and maybe that's what that dog was about. I was trying to drag you, and I'm quite out of here. Ezekiel was on his knees, praying, right? He was already in that prone position. In Ezekiel 2:1, he said to me, "Son of man, stand on your feet." So now we've got ourselves where we know that when we go in there, we're going to make that supplication, that we're going to get on our knees and pray before a holy God.
Amen.
But then what he says is, stand on your feet. I'm going to speak to you. Right? I don't want any distractions. I need you to stand up and look at me. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, turn from their wicked ways, and seek my face.
Yes.
Stand up, son of man. Stand up on your feet, and I will speak with you. So where we are as a church body, and where we are going into this thing with these young men at the Felony to Freedom and whatnot, is you got to teach somebody, right? You got to put God before you. You've got to put him in that holy place. You've got to seek his face. Look, he said, and I got a hold of it, that when I did that, and I said, when I would turn from my wicked ways and seek his face, that he would hear from heaven, he would forgive my sins, and he would heal my land.
Yes.
Amen.
And he did it in his time, not my time.
Amen.
He surely didn't do it in Melinda's time. Because she'd have had it done overnight. I'm just teasing. I'm only saying something because her and Wendy are on the beach right now, and I'm still here with the dogs. I'm just saying. Again, they're on the beach. My wife has a whole beach ministry. So if any of y'all feel depressed, or you feel like you need to get away, just holler at Melinda. She'll run you down to Galveston. Y'all hang on the beach and you get right, and then you come back. I was pretty sure that I was the one that was in ministry. She's taking, when I said she was in ministry too, I think she's taking this too serious. Yeah, took her Bible, got my Bible with me, didn't see that. Just come. Look, set the Lord before you, right? Seek his face. You got to get on your knees and pray. But at a time, if you want to hear from him, stand up. Stand up. For all those guys that are out there that are paying attention, man up.
Amen.
Stop crying about everything. All the stuff that you went through as a child ain't got nothing to do with what you're doing today. The choices you make today are today.
That's right.
Right? The choices that I make today are the choices that I make today. If I put the Lord before me, if I know that he's at my right hand, if I trust that everything that I do, he has his hands involved in it, what do I need to be afraid of? No weapon or dog formed against me shall prosper.
All right.
I'm not tripping on that dog. If I walk out there and he runs up to bite me, I'm going to knock him out. Straight up. I'm not kicking him. I'm going to do just like my dad said, hold him high. maybe low. You know. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna be afraid because the Lord is with me. He's at my right hand. What am I worried about?
Amen. Amen.
When he says no weapon formed against me, what does that mean? Nothing formed against me. Nothing that the devil comes up with is gonna have anything to do with anybody in this room. Because we know the deal, right? We know what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to pray for one another. We're supposed to encourage one another with sound doctrine. When it gets down to brass tacks, we're not gonna lay in our bed and say, Lord, please bless Mother Moon, and go to sleep. We'll catch our knees before we go to bed.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
Because I know that's what you do.
Amen.
Patty says, you know, please bless Brother Matt.
To be
You know it.
Ooh, Jesus.
Then something happens to me and she's like, man, did I fall asleep? I did fall asleep when I was praying for that man. I'm gonna stop it. I told you don't be giving me those thumbs up on Facebook if you ain't gonna do it for real. If I ask for prayers, if I put it out there in public, I need y'all to catch your need.
Amen. We got you.
Now, when it comes to stuff and you want to hear from God in your own life about the things that are going on, he says, stand up on your feet and I will speak to you. So, I'm going to close up with this real quick, and then Sister Ann's going to sing a couple songs for us. Do you mind doing that? Yes, because you missed it last week. And you're dressed for it. Making you too famous.
Yeah.
Look, this is the thing. When you get in there and you start praying, you have to pray with expectation.
Yes.
Right? We need to be serious about the things that we're going to pray for. We have to pray that things are going to happen.
Yes, Lord.
Surely it's not going to be too long from now when we start talking about this that we're going to come together. It's not on my time, it's not on Pastor's time, it's not on your time, but when Jesus says it's time for you to get up out of that chair,
Man,
What a day.
man.
did you ever learn how to moonwalk?
She gonna be running.
I'm gonna go backwards. I'm gonna go forward, baby.
There you go.
Yeah, what happened, Michael Jackson? Back.
That's right.
Back in the wrong moment.
Look, at the end of the day, when we're praying about stuff, if you know you're doing things you ought not do, you make sure that you go in there with godly sorrow. We're not talking about because I offended you or I offended you and I feel bad because I offended somebody. Judas did that, right? When Peter went back and when he denied Christ 3 times, he came back the right way. Judas went out and hung himself. Peter went in there and repented, right? 3 times. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Feed my sheep.
Yeah.
So now as we're going forward, like I said, when Pastor asked me to do this thing 5 or 6 months ago, there was an explosion in the spirit realm. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be in this church. I'm not supposed to be here right now. I'm not supposed to be this deep into the Word. I was supposed to come out of prison. I was supposed to get discouraged. And I was supposed to go back to my old ways.
Look at there.
That's what I'm supposed to do. Because that's what everybody does.
My
Yeah.
God. The blood of Jesus.
I'm telling you, He sets my path before me. He has set the table for me in front of my enemies.
Yes, amen.
Right? And so that's not just for me. It's not just for Peter. It's not just for Paul and Silas and Timothy. You understand? That's for us. It's not for Ezekiel and Jeremiah. We actually have the life of the Holy Spirit in and around us all the time. Accept it and understand that there is great power, dunamis power living inside you. Right? When we get together, when 2 or more are gathered in His name, He's in our midst.
That's what it said.
Anything that they should touch in the ground, they should have it. He said, ask the Father anything in my name, anything in my name, and I'll do it.
That's it.
Amen.
That's what it said.
The name above all names. Right? That's she said it this morning, man, you had a lady that was standing here that look, it's treatable, but it's not curable. You're gonna die. Right? And she said, wait a second, that's not what the Word said. Straight up. She didn't start panicking and start crying and bawling and all that. She was like, no, you said, by your stripes I'm healed. Past tense, it's already done. I can't believe this. Pray to your cows and your dogs and your chickens and all that stuff, but when it comes down to brass tacks, my God is a healer. I love her heart when she said, look, I do what they tell me to do. I respect the science. God made that, right?
Amen.
We have the power of independent thought and free will. So we can take those poisonous plants and we can turn them into cures for cancer. There's no doubt that that can happen.
Right.
God does that. God does that. We
Yes.
don't do that.
Yes,
He
yes.
puts it on your heart to do that,
Yes.
right? All the things that we've got going on in our life, God has his hands in all that. So you just make sure that you understand that that's literally what's going on, man. It doesn't matter. When that guy pulls out in front of you, look around and see what God's trying to show you,
Amen.
right? If your wife is just a little bit crazy,
Uh-oh,
it's okay. God is trying to tell you something. Slow down.
slow down.
Slow down. Spend some time.
Me,
Yeah, mine ain't crazy. Not while she's sitting there anyway. You watch when she gets up here, she tries to pinch me. She'll show you crazy side.
Uh-huh.
Look, I love my wife and I love my life. There's nothing that I would do to change it. God gave me all of it.
I believe that.
He blessed me with that woman that stuck by me through all of that.
Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
Amen. And look, it ain't no joke. She put up with an awful lot of stuff. And if she wants to go to the beach, I don't care how many times she wants to go, as long as I can afford for her to go, she's going.
How about
And
Amen.
anything that she wants.
Amen, amen.
It used to be the desire of my heart was to please Mike. Right? And now I want to please him.
That's it.
And while I'm doing that, he just happens to take care of her. I don't have to do it.
Yes, it will.
He's got her friends that pop up and they'll pay for a trip, or they'll pay for the gas. However, them girls get down there, they're not costing me anything. They go down there and they come back happy. I'm good.
Amen.
So, this is without further ado. I guess I'm gonna pull this up real quick. I think I can do it on this phone because I can control it from there. I just have to turn it up a little bit. Hmm? It'll be the second one? Okay, so I'll turn that on after you, I'll turn that on after you come up here and do Walk Around Heaven.
I've learned how to live holy.
Huh?
I've learned how to live holy.
Okay, you got another one? You and Corey gonna do that?
Amen. Amen.
You did, that's good.
Get pinched.
Giving all praise to God, I find it a blessing and an honor to be able to come before you
Amen.
by the grace of God. And I get nervous every time I come, but I do know that God is preparing me for something great.
Yes, he
I'm
is.
gonna sing, I learned how to live holy. I've learned how to live holy.
Yes, Lord.
I've learned how to live right. I've learned how to suffer.
Yes.
For if I suffer, I'll gain eternal life. With
When he
grace.
breaks you, he doesn't destroy you. He does it with grace. Ah! Anybody been gracefully broken?
Oh, yeah. Amen.
Ooh. Thank you, Lord. So, Father, tonight we're broken before you. Thank you for handling us with grace.
Thank you.
Just lift your worship right there in this moment. I have in these hands and multiply,
Well,
God, all that I am and find my heart on the altar again. Set me on fire, set me on fire. Come on, sing. All I have in these hands and multiply, God, all that I am and find my heart
All right.
on the altar again. Set me on fire, set me on fire. Here I am, God, arms wide open.
sing, girl. Sing it.
Pouring out my life, gracefully broken. Stands in all of your name, your mighty love stands strong to the end. You will fulfill your purpose in me. You won't forsake. You will be with me. Here I am, God, arms wide open. Pouring out my life, gracefully broken. Here I am, Lord, arms wide open, arms wide open. Pouring out my life, gracefully broken. On to Jesus now. On to Jesus now. I'm holding nothing back. I'm holding nothing back. I surrender. 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 Your power and work in me. I'm hungry for you. I'm strong when I am weak. I will be free. Your power and work in me. I'm hungry for you. I'm strong when I am weak. I will be free. Your power and work in me. I'm broken, gracefully. I'm strong will be free. Arms wide open. Oh, yeah, Lord. Pouring out my life, gracefully broken.
Amen. There's so much talent in this place.
Amen.
And all good things come from the heavens above, right? All of it. So everything that I've got going on in my life that is good, everything that you have going on in your life that's good. Sister Joyce is moving into the next season of her life, right? Retired, things are not over, right? But now it's going to get interesting.
Now it's about to get interesting.
Now it's going to get interesting.
Yes, it is.
The obedience of this place amazes me. We've had so many wonderful things that have happened. We've had in the last couple of years, only since I've been here, there have been people healed. Lives have been transformed, relationships have been restored. I mean, it is absolutely amazing.
Amen.
You know, this next thing that's happening with Brother Corey right now is as we're going into this next season for him,
Amen.
is the windows of heaven are about to be opened up. Right, when you're, it's like I said, you know, the message tonight really was to you. He found you on your knees. And he told you to stand up. Got something to say. And so as you stand up and you tell your story, whatever he puts on your heart, those are the things that start to make a shift in this paradigm as these guys are coming out of prison, as guys are coming back from war-torn countries and they're not all there mentally or physically. Whether they've been in prison or whether they've been in combat, you come back and you're missing some things, and it's good to know that there's people that are like you. It's good to see that there are people that are like you that God has picked up and is starting to do something. It's good to see that they've stepped out and they've kind of forged the way, that they've stepped out on faith, and that God is doing something with you, and it gives them the encouragement to maybe if he'll use that guy, man, maybe he'll use something for me.
Amen.
You know? And it's not just because I'm not special. Clyde's not special. Corey's not special. All of us have been through some things.
Amen.
He uses your testimony. You're uniquely qualified. All the things, Sister Joyce, you've been through, makes you uniquely qualified for this next season. Well, that's all the things that you've been through. Right? The things that, just dealing with your husband. I talk about crazy wives all the time. I got to talk about crazy husbands every once in a while. I pick on James, right?
Don't talk about my food.
I just said it makes you uniquely qualified. I'm just saying that we all been through some things. Dee Dee, you're just about to start. Right? Things are about to get crazy, right? But you're being obedient, bro. I mean, I watched you when I first came up here, and you were kind of offbeat all the time, and your dad was always looking at you like, stop. Right? That's when I first came here, and now you're up there today, man, and I'm just beating the face off them things. I'm just amazed, man, at all the stuff that God's done. Like, all I want to do is I want to pray us out. Does anybody have anything they want to pray about tonight? Anything that needs to be lifted up that we haven't touched on before? Besides Tyrone, we're going to lift him up for sure. We're also going to lift up the little brother that shot him.
When I went to work today, I was told that one of my coworkers hadn't been there. Her name is
LaTanya McCoy, and she just recently found out, I guess within the last month or so, that she has cancer. And then also, when I was at work, my coworker, she had to leave because they had to call 911 for her mom, Carmen Solis. I think she's like in her 80s. She was having trouble breathing. So if we can lift up LaTanya McCoy and Carmen Solis. In praise.
Lift up my brain cells to try to remember people's names, but absolutely, that's it. I got you. Okay. Look, there's a lot of things we're gonna, real quick, and this may get to be may just be a tradition for Clyde and I. If that's okay with you guys, we're gonna catch our knees.
Amen.
Amen.
And pray this thing out. We're gonna bless this offering. And, you know, it's a. Lord, we come humbly before you this evening. Thanking you for all the things that you've done for us, Lord. All the things seen and unseen, all the things that you've done even now. All the things that you're about to do, Lord. We want to lift up Minister Coy and the fellows that are freedom. All of the things that are going on, we want to touch each and every one of those brothers. Anybody that might get involved, we just pray that you might bless them in a mighty way. In the name of Jesus, Lord, we want to lift up Sister Porter's co-workers. You're still the healer.
Yes, you are.
Even now, Lord, you said we're two or more together in your name is here in the midst. You said that we should touch the ground, anything we should have it. And right now we lift up both of those sisters and their families. Right now we bind Satan and his minion and every scheme that they have against them. In the name of Jesus, Lord, we lift them up. We lift those ministering angels to minister to every aspect of their lives, every cell of their body, so that they might function the way they originally designed. Just pray that you would shed your peace and your love all about them and all around them. Lord, I want to lift up Brother Tyrone tonight. I don't know him. I know a lot of brothers just like us. And I've seen the work that you've done in the lives of some of the men in my life, and Lord, I pray that you do the same for him. I just pray that right now, that you would reach out and touch him in a special way. Lord, that you would heal him. Not just from the bullet wounds, Lord, that you would touch his spirit, touch his soul, that you would bring him close to you. Father, I pray that the man that pulled the trigger, that you might touch him in a special way as well. Just pray that as we move about, Lord, that you would. Matter of fact, Lord, in the name of Jesus, we loose those warring angels, those chariots of fire, to stand guard around him and his family, not to allow anything to come close to him that's not your contrary order.
In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus, Lord, we loose those ministering angels to be all over him. We plead the blood of Jesus over him and his family, over his friends, any aspect of that situation, Lord. Lord, as we move about, I just pray that you would touch each and every one of us as we leave this place, but never for your presence, that you would touch us in a special way this way. Your way. Lord, we send you out before us, knowing that you're at our right hand, that you're there every minute of every day, and that you will continue to have your way in our lives. I just pray that this week, Lord, you would show up and show out in mighty ways all over the place, that they would see you and not see us. Pray that you would bless this offering, Lord, as we move forward, that you would use your multiplication process, Lord, to use this for the kingdom. I just pray that you would use each and every one of us the same way for the kingdom. Lord, we love you and we thank you. We pray these things in Jesus' sweet, precious, mighty, and holy name. Amen.